It's Ron Reader Digs the Universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe, and tonight, in memory of Alex Bill III. I got word on Sunday that my lawyer had passed away, and I feel the need to say a few words about him. A few years back, I became involved as an outsider in a brutal, in fact, that I was falsely charged with a serious crime with the help, I think, of a crooked cop and a very gullible prosecutor, all in very fine My Cousin Vinny fashion. This was out in the country in Chambers County, Texas, and I had to spend a couple of nights in jail. It was totally unjust, totally corrupt, and total bullshit. But I can say no more because in order to get the charges dropped, I had to consent to a gag order, which means I can't talk about Fight Club. Gag! But that's right. The charges were dropped. They were dropped eventually, and that was brokered by Alex Bill. My older brother is an attorney in Austin, and when all this came down, he hit up the Texas lawyer hotline and found out that Alex Bill III was going to be my man. So I looked him up. A veteran, a former cop, and a lifelong equestrian. A car crash killed his horse and paralyzed both of Mr. Bill's legs and an arm. After recovering from this devastating accident, he rebooted his career and went to law school, became a crusading attorney in the region east of Houston. Now, if you're thinking that the guy was something of an indomitable Boy Scout, you'd be absolutely right, in the best way possible. Here is a man who, as a police officer, was, I think, driven far more by a love of justice than simply by a desire to get the bad guy. That's how I think he so easily transitioned into the courtroom. Defendants must have their full array of rights, regardless of guilt or innocence, or it's not justice. At our first meeting, we passionately discussed Founding Father John Adams representing the British soldiers responsible for the Boston Massacre. I believe Alex Bill defended me and his clients with the same zeal that drove him as a police officer. At our court dates, it was clear that he had the respect of everyone in the room. The judge, the prosecutor, clerks, everyone, especially me. I think Alex Bill was a great man performing on the relatively small but significant East Texas stage. I'm not sure, but I think he died of COVID. I had heard that he was out of the office because he had contracted the dread disease, and then I heard about his passing. It seems likely. And I wonder if cavalier attitudes about coronavirus among the very conservative Trump supporters who populate the small towns where he worked and played a role. I understand that there are still some 400 Americans dying every day from COVID. It's still a thing. Play it safe. I think I should probably also mention that Mr. Bill was himself a Trump supporter. And he knew how liberal I am. It made no difference to him. I was a defendant in need of legal representation like any other, and he did his damnedest to get justice for me, and he got it. So that's another thing that I think we should remember about Alex. There are good, moral people among Trump supporters. Conservatism is now as much of a culture as it is a political point of view, and if you're deeply embedded in that culture, as perhaps the majority in East Texas are, embracing Trumpism is something that everybody you know is doing, and that's how good people get pulled in. These good people, I think, are reachable, and we should never stop trying to reach them. They deserve that. Farewell, Alex Bill. You made a difference. You made a big difference, and you will be sorely missed. I'm Ron Reeder, and this has been Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reeder, again next week for another episode of Ron Reeder Digs the Universe.